Hello! I'm Elaine, and I'm a tour guide in the French Quarter. I do ghost tours. And I am not going to tell you the stories that I tell on my tour, because you gotta pay for those. But if you want to hear some interesting things that have happened to me while I'm leading random drunk people around the French Quarter, I got you. If you've listened to even a couple of these videos, you know that sometimes on tours we have guests who are a problem. They might be interrupting every few minutes, they might be talking constantly, they might just be making inappropriate jokes. But sometimes we have guests on the tours who aren't a problem. Like if they are talking, it's quietly and off the side. They might be laughing, but they're laughing at the appropriate moments. And weirdly, on those tours, sometimes we still have other guests acting as if those people are a problem. And to a certain extent, I do understand. People want to experience tours in different ways. Some people really just want to sit silently and let the story come into them and not have any other experiences with other people. And other people want it to be a bit more like friends talking to each other. It's sort of like at the movies. Like, there are the people who go to the movies and want to shout at the screen. They want to be like, oh, don't go in there. Oh, there's a guy behind you. And other people really want silence. And both of those are legitimate ways of enjoying a movie. But when they're both in the same theater, you have a problem. But I had a group recently that was really the epitome of this problem. And wait around to the end because there's a twist. But this group, they arrived late, so late that they had to be walked over from the storefront by one of the storefront staff. And as soon as they're walking up, I can tell that they are visibly drunk. And like usually if somebody arrives after I've already started the rules, I just leave off I continue from where I am. I don't go back to pick up rules. But this particular night, because they were so visibly drunk, yeah, I quickly rehashed the rules for them, being like, hey, hold conversations and questions till the end of each story and, respect everybody around you. And I notice at that moment that one of the other groups looks visibly annoyed by this late coming group, but it's fine. I've given them the rules. We're going to keep moving. I jump back into the story. And as soon as I'm finished, one of the drunk girls asks a question. And when she starts, I'm like, oh no. Because she is just three sheets to the wind. She starts with that over there. But the thing is, the rest of the question was perfectly logical and coherent. She asked, what's the arch over there? And, I just casually explained, that's Armstrong Park. We will be talking about it later, but, we're good. And I move on to the second stop, and once again, the exact same thing is happening. At the end of the story, she starts to ask a question and sounds cartoonishly drunk. But it was a perfectly fair question that she expressed pretty, coherently. And her question was, why would men risk going to sex workers who are known for killing people? And, I start to explain, and yeah, I will admit this time the girl had a little bit of trouble understanding, what I was trying to explain. And, the annoyed people from the first stop, once again, are looking annoyed, and, one of them even cuts in to my answer to try to explain on her own, well, men are just dumb. And I'm, being no, it's, a lot of them were just new to town, because this was area right next to the docks. Some men would, just think themselves strong enough to defeat this, and also, yeah, some men are dumb. But the girl got it, and we moved on. No problem. Then we get to the fourth stop, and again, the drunk girl is starting to ask a question. And once again, she sounds drunk as a skunk when she begins the question, but it's a perfectly coherent, valid question. And the weird thing is, every time she starts out all slurry and what's that? But by the end, she's just being what's that over there? What? Huh? Yeah, I have a question. And this was the most commonly asked question people ask at this location, which is, what is this house now? And I answer the question, no problem, we move on, nothing is wrong here. But as I'm heading towards the next stop, the lady who had been so annoyed previously is walking right next to me, and we're just chatting, and we're talking about something else, when she literally, out of the blue, just looks back at the drunk girl and goes, she asked the dumbest damn questions. What does it matter to her who lives here now? Why would she even care? How is that affecting her life? And I'm like, that's not a dumb question. It's the most commonly asked question. And also, this entire tour is edutainment. You're here out of curiosity. She's allowed to ask questions. And I'm trying to be polite about it, but I'm just a little bit annoyed at this woman for being annoyed. And the rest of the tour is exactly like this. Almost every stop, the drunk girl has at least one question. An angry woman is sitting there rolling her eyes and snorting dismissively. And at one point, she even interrupted as the drunk girl was asking the question and was like, well, I don't understand how anyone could not understand that. And I had to be like, no, well, it's a valid question. Let me answer it. But the twist here, the next day, I was at the storefront just to meet my guests like usual. And before they arrived, I was just chatting with the staff. And one of the staff members was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for you on your tour last night. Your guests were awful even while they were here. And I was like, oh my God, did the drunk girls who arrived late, were they a problem? Did they like cause chaos? And they were like, no, those girls were super sweet. We're talking about the ones in the pink shirts, which were the ladies who were so angry. And they explained that these girls in pink shirts were blocking the entrance to the bathroom at one point. And so one of the staff members had to go over and be like, hey, you can't hang out right in front of the bathroom. Like, we need people to be able to go in and out. And one of them went into the bathroom immediately afterwards and wrecked the place. I mean, like, an entire roll of toilet paper was soaked in water and smeared across the sink. Water was sprayed everywhere. There was another half roll of toilet paper in the toilet. The toilet paper holder was half ripped off the wall. Garbage was strewn on the floor. And when the girl was on her way out of the bathroom, the worker happened to be standing nearby, and she looked him dead in the eye and said, I hope we didn't cause any problems. So yeah, it turns out you can't tell for sure who's going to be the problem on a tour. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to share your own experiences in the comments below.